You know, even for those of us really trying to keep up with longevity research, there's this underlying idea, isn't there, that real vitality deep into old age is maybe look or genes or, I don't know, expensive treatments. We're sort of told our bodies are just meant to decline, but what if the biggest secret to thriving past 100 wasn't some complicated biohack? What if it's something, well, simple, profound, and actually free? Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are really getting into the true secret behind Japanese longevity. We're focusing on this concept called ikigai. Our mission really is to unpack what that actually means because it's way more than the simple translation suggests, and how this daily practice genuinely impacts your health, like right down at the cellular level. We're drawing on some sources that honestly made me rethink everything I thought I knew about aging. I have to admit, I used to be a bit fatalistic about getting older, like a lot of people, probably. I just assumed after 50, maybe 60, it's downhill, memory slips, joints ache, energy fades.
That's the standard Western narrative, isn't it?
Exactly. We hear 70 is old, 80 is ancient, and making it to 100 is like a miracle. But then something shifted for me. My friend Sarah, she called after spending 3 months in Japan, and her voice, it wasn't just happy, it sounded younger, more alive.
Really?
Yeah. She'd seen these communities, often in pretty remote villages, where people weren't just hitting 100, they were flourishing. Still gardening, involved in everything, climbing hills even. It wasn't just surviving, it was this incredible vitality.
And that right there, that's the perfect jumping off point for our deep dive. Because that Western idea of decline after 50, it's so deeply embedded. We're almost culturally programmed, to expect things to fall apart, expect independence to slip away.
Right, we expect chronic disease to just be part of getting old. So we've got this expectation here, this societal script of deterioration. But then you look at places like Okinawa, or these rural mountain villages you mentioned, and it's just a completely different picture. Active, sharp 95-year-olds, less chronic illness, minds clearer than many Westerners decades younger. It's such a stark contrast. So it can't just be genetics, can it? That seems too simple.
You've hit on a really key point. That's a common assumption. But we can clear that up pretty quickly. Research consistently shows that when Japanese individuals move to, say, America, and they adopt Western lifestyles,
Right.
well, that longevity advantage starts to fade, often within just one generation.
Oh, one generation.
Yeah. So while genes obviously play some role in health for any individual, they just don't explain this huge population-wide difference. And perhaps surprisingly, it's not mainly down to their excellent healthcare system either.
Really? I would have thought that played a big part.
You'd think so, but many of the longest living Japanese people are actually in these rural areas, sometimes with quite limited access to the most cutting-edge hospitals or treatments.
Okay, so no magic genes, not purely world-class hospitals everywhere. That brings us to the other big one, the diet. Is it just their famous diet? Because everyone points to the fish, the vegetables.
Well, their diet is undeniably healthy. It definitely plays a supporting role. Lots of fresh vegetables, fish, not much processed stuff. But it's still not the single defining factor.
How so?
Because we see other cultures around the world with incredibly nutritious diets, but they don't reach that same level of exceptional widespread longevity. No, the real secret, if you want to call it that, is something more fundamental, something woven right into the fabric of their daily life.
Woven in, how?
It influences how they wake up in the morning, how they move, how they connect with others, how they find meaning in small things, even how they think about time itself.
Okay, let's unpack this. You said it's something fundamental, woven into daily life. That sounds holistic. Is this a secret of philosophy or practices or?
It's something they call ikigai. Now, the usual translation is something like reason for being or life purpose. But honestly, that simple phrase kind of misses the depth of daily practice that makes it so powerful.
So it's not like finding one big purpose and you're set.
Exactly. It's not about achieving one grand thing and then, coasting. It's much more about finding and acting on purpose in the small, consistent things.
That difference feels really important. So how does that daily practice actually look? What does it feel like in their lives?
Right. Think about meticulously tending a small garden because it adds beauty to the neighborhood.
Right.
Or preparing a simple meal, but seeing it as an act of care, of nourishment for your family. Is how that underlying sense of meaning shapes every little decision, every interaction.
So it infuses the mundane with significance.
Precisely. Imagine waking up, not dreading the aches and pains, but feeling this quiet why behind even simple tasks. A genuine, maybe low-key excitement about contributing something, learning something, making a small positive impact. Imagine seeing your body not as this burden that's inevitably failing, but more like a partner,
Hmm.
a partner in a meaningful mission that's bigger than just your own comfort.
That's a totally different way to frame getting older.
It really is. That's how these centenarians seem to approach life. They've kind of structured their existence around something larger than themselves, so their own aging process becomes less central, almost secondary.
Okay, that's a powerful reframe. But you mentioned earlier, this isn't just philosophy, there's actual science here. How does having the sense of purpose physically change things in the body?
Right, and here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Because this isn't just about feeling good, though that's part of it. It seems to literally um, rewire your brain for longevity.
Rewire your brain.
Yeah. It appears to trigger specific genetic switches. Think of them as pathways involved in cellular repair and resilience to stress. Finding and living your ikigai seems to signal your body to maintain itself, to rejuvenate more effectively. And this starts a whole cascade of positive biological changes. It adds not just years, but healthy, vital years.
That's incredible. But some people might hear that and think, okay, but isn't that just positive thinking, a placebo effect? How do we know ikigai is actually causing these biological changes? What does the hard research show?
That's a fair question. And the evidence is pretty compelling. When scientists look at the brains of older people with a strong sense of ikigai, they see patterns remarkably similar to much younger brains.
Like what kind of patterns?
Better connectivity between different brain regions, more efficient processing, significantly less of the typical age-related decline you might expect, and their levels of cortisol, that's the stress hormone that really accelerates aging, tend to stay healthy, even in very old age, if they have that strong life purpose.
So less stress damage, essentially.
Essentially, yes. Their immune systems often function like those of people decades younger. Their cardiovascular health stays robust much longer, well into their 90s, commonly. And the risk of dementia, this is huge. It drops by over 50%. There's fascinating work by Dr. Patricia Boyle at Rush University. She found people with a strong purpose were 44% less likely to develop Alzheimer's.
44%.
Yes, and get this, even if they already had the physical markers, the plaques and tangles associated with Alzheimer's in their brains upon autopsy, the purpose seemed protective somehow.
Wow. And I remember reading something about telomeres as well, those caps on our chromosomes. That seemed really fundamental.
Absolutely. That's one of the most striking findings. Telomeres normally shorten as we age, right? It's a key marker of cellular aging. But studies suggest that discovering and living your ikigai can actually correlate with longer telomeres.
Longer. So reversing aging at a cellular level.
That's the implication. It seems linked to activating an enzyme called telomerase, which helps rebuild those protective caps. So your cells stay younger and function better for longer. It's quite profound. Dr. Bradley Wilcox, who spent over 20 years studying Okinawan centenarians, talks about compressed morbidity.
Compressed morbidity. What's that exactly?
It means that people with the strongest sense of purpose tend to stay healthy and active for almost their entire long lives. Then, the decline, when it comes, is rapid and happens only in the final months or weeks. They avoid that long, slow slide into frailty and illness that we often see in the West.
So they're not just living longer, they're truly living better for almost all of that longer life. It sounds almost like purpose gives them a biological advantage, a kind of cheat code.
It really looks that way. And you see echoes of this in long-term studies, like the Harvard study of adult development. It's been running for over 80 years now.
Really famous one, right?
That's the one. They found that having a strong sense of purpose in your 50s was a powerful predictor of being healthy and happy in your 80s and 90s. But what really helps solidify the cause and effect idea for researchers is intervention studies. When they actively help people develop a stronger sense of life purpose, you see measurable improvements.
What kind of improvements?
Their health markers get better, cognitive function sharpens up, energy levels increase, overall well-being transforms, and often quite quickly, within months. It suggests purpose isn't just correlated with health, it actively drives it.
Okay, so taking all this science, all these observations, what does this actually mean for you listening right now? Maybe you've been feeling anxious about getting older, or you see people around you facing those challenges we assume are inevitable.
Well, this raises an important point, doesn't it? It means you likely have far more influence over how you age than you've probably been led to believe. It means that starting today, really, you can begin weaving in some of the same kinds of daily practices that keep these Japanese centenarians thriving.
And it's not about finding that one single giant purpose and then you're done. You said the Japanese approach is more nuanced, more practical.
Exactly. It's about weaving purpose into the everyday texture of your life, finding ways to contribute, to connect, to learn that are sustainable for you, personally meaningful.
So it's about finding those reasons to get out of bed that go beyond just comfort or, entertainment, finding ways to contribute to something bigger than just yourself.
Precisely. Whether that something bigger is your family, your community, sharing knowledge, creating beauty, working towards justice, whatever resonates deeply with you. And crucially, it's also about staying curious. Keep learning, keep growing throughout your entire life. That constant mental engagement, that refusal to stagnate, seems to be a powerful antidote to aging itself.
It challenges that whole Western tragedy of aging, doesn't it? The idea that your best years are somehow behind you after 50 or 60, that retirement means withdrawing, becoming less relevant.
It completely flips that script. Japanese centenarians seem to understand something vital. Your value, your potential contribution, can actually increase with age. Think about it. You accumulate wisdom, experience, perspective.
Like that 90-year-old in the Okinawan village you mentioned, not seen as a burden, but as a vital part of the community.
Exactly. Revered as a keeper of history, a storyteller, a mentor whose wisdom is sought out. Their accumulated life becomes their profound new purpose. They seem to know, deep down, that life can keep getting more meaningful, more purposeful, more fulfilling year after year.
This is such a powerful shift in perspective, but its real power comes from actually applying it. So let's get practical. What are some concrete steps someone listening can take, maybe even starting tonight, to cultivate their own ikigai? Okay, first step, maybe grab a piece of paper later. Write down 3 things, just 3 that you care about more than your own immediate comfort. Think about them not just as interests, but as sources of purposeful engagement. Things that genuinely light up your brain's reward circuits and lower stress.
And remember, these don't have to be huge, world-changing things. It could be a cause, specific people, an idea you love exploring, a problem you want to help solve. What would get you out of bed even if you were tired? Maybe it's helping your grandkids learn something new, or preserving family recipes, or making your local park a bit nicer. Small things count.
Okay, step 2.
Identify one small, concrete, specific action you can take tomorrow to engage with each of those 3 purposes. Just one small thing. Something that moves you towards contribution, not just consuming. Even a tiny step forward activates that reward system in the brain, strengthening those positive neural pathways.
Makes sense. Step 3.
Find other people who share at least one of these purposes. Your friend Sarah saw this in Japan, right? It wasn't just individuals, it was communities thriving on shared purpose. This isn't just about having friends, though that's important. Strong social connections, especially around shared goals, directly fight loneliness and chronic inflammation, 2 major accelerators of aging.
So shared purpose literally makes you healthier.
It seems to. The Japanese really get that Ikigai isn't a solo mission. It's a community practice. It grows stronger together.
Okay, what's next? Step 4.
Commit to learning something new related to one of your purposes every single week. It doesn't have to be a formal course. Read an article, watch a documentary, talk to someone knowledgeable. This constant mental stimulation encourages neurogenesis, the growth of new brain cells, and helps protect against cognitive decline. Think of curiosity and growth as anti-aging tools.
Love that. And the final step, you mentioned this is transformative.
Yes, number 5.
And this is maybe the biggest mental shift.
Right.
Start consciously viewing your own aging, not as an inevitable decline, but as an advancement towards wisdom. See it not as withdrawing from life, but as an opportunity for deeper engagement with what truly matters to you.
Reframing the whole process. Exactly. That shift in perception alone can reduce stress and build resilience. So every morning, instead of maybe sighing about another year older, try counting the ways you can contribute that day. Focus on what your mind and heart can offer, rather than dwelling on what your body might not do as easily as it once did. See retirement, if that's relevant, not as an end, but as the start of potentially your most purposeful chapter yet.
It's a fundamental shift, isn't it? A rewiring, like you said.
It really is. It's not just wishful thinking. It's a consistent practice that seems to have the power to, well, maybe not reverse aging entirely, but certainly to slow it down, potentially even at the cellular level, and add decades of healthy, meaningful life. The Japanese experience suggests 100 really can be the new 70. That purpose might just be more powerful than any pill, and meaning could be the ultimate medicine.
So, the only real question left for you listening is, will you claim this profound secret for yourself? This secret rooted in daily meaning, consistent contribution, lifelong learning? Or will you let it slip away? Your future self, that vibrant, engaged person you could be decades from now, is kind of counting on the decision you make right now. Because tomorrow is one day closer to the life you're building with every purposeful choice you make today.